Okay, I think we are good. I think we are live.
Yep.
I hope. I don't know. It was a mad dash. Like I was like, okay, I'll delay it by 15 minutes because I've got some personal matters, and then I got through the door and
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap, I gotta go pee. I gotta go make sure the
Yeah,
Zoom stuff's
everything-
working. I was like running around my house to get this on.
Yeah, everything just seems to go hectic right before you're about to join a live or do something like that. It's just
I mean, it got crazy. It got crazy busy, but
Yeah.
we made it on time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we have fixed the stream, so hopefully when it goes live later, we won't have to deal with 20 minutes of welcome music. I thought it was a nice touch of like production value. Like it was gonna go,
Yeah.
oh wow, yeah, we've got some music to keep me busy while I'm going in, and then
Professional.
you sent me a message saying like, yeah, we're gonna have like an hour and a half long stream. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
People will be just like, oh, this is just a music channel. It's not got to do with movies.
This is a radio station where we don't talk.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. There's just fancy stuff going on.
Yeah, but look, it's episode 2.
Yes, we made it to a
Oh.
whole second episode. We didn't crash and
Yeah,
burn
we-
horribly after the first one.
We survived the first one and we got through, so hey, happy enough. So this is episode 2, and basically what we do is we just talk about movies and TV news, movie reviews, trailer reaction, everything got to do with movies, and even some maybe some interviews coming up, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're
I
talking
don't know.
about.
I'm just putting it out into the universe. Possibilities are
Maybe
always
if
there.
you speak of an interview with somebody cool, maybe it
Yeah.
might happen. You never know.
It might happen. Yeah, you never know. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Maybe in the pipeline. But we're not gonna jinx anything because this is kind of like
No.
there was a fish that I don't know if we've got it in the net yet, so I'm not gonna speak too highly of our haul. But exciting things are happening, and it's promising because, I mean, we only just started. We were at episode 2, and
Yeah.
it's just like one of those things that's like now is a great time to be doing stuff like this, because there's just so much content to talk about, and there's a lot of people that want to talk about this stuff. So
Yeah, it's great. Something cool to be doing as well, just to engage with people and just have a good conversation about it all. So
Exactly,
I'm
exactly.
happy. I'm happy if everyone else is happy doing it.
Precisely, precisely. I've abandoned the Snyder Cut attire today. We've gone for some from festivities today. I know we're still like a month
Already?
away, and I'm gonna get. Hey, as soon as Halloween was over, I was like, I'm wearing a fucking jumper. I don't care. You know, people can
Yeah.
judge me for all they care. I don't mind. I
Yeah.
really don't mind.
Yeah. Well,
But
we have our Christmas tree up, so I suppose we're part of the problem too.
yeah, that's more effort than putting on a jumper. So I can't get any flack for wearing this.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm
Yours
not
is
gonna
just
accept.
yours is just a piece of clothing. I'm actually decorating my house.
Exactly, and that's like
Yours, yeah.
semi-permanent stuff. So I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take any of your abuse. So I remember a couple of minutes in, so I guess we can turn on to our first topic of today, kind of keeping it consistent with what we talked about last week, which was mostly Snyder Cut related, because that was just kind of like our home turf when it came to movies and whatnot. DC, Snyder stuff, that was just kind of like the stuff that we're most engaged in, I guess, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of like today kind of transition away the further we go through these topics. So
Yeah.
the first thing that we have to talk about is I think that's I don't know if I've got the right title on the stream here. I've got Release of Snyder Cut Turns 3. I think that's kind of something we talked about last time.
Yeah.
I guess the main focus is on the Release the Snyder Cut stuff that happened. Oh, oops, I've turned the wrong. There we go. The Release the Snyder Cut stuff that happened after we streamed our first episode, which was we had the likes of Ben, Henry, and am I missing one? Is there somebody else who
Um,
tweeted?
yeah. Henry posted, or Joe Manganiello posted.
Yes. Oh,
That's
yes. The
Deathstroke.
really,
Yeah.
really cool one. So yeah, we got
Yeah.
some really juicy content right after we streamed, which is like, God damn it! You know,
Yeah. I
as
know.
soon as
Yeah.
we're done, they're like, oh, here's this never before seen picture of Deathstroke that might be from the new additional photography that you don't get to talk about until your next show.
Yeah, because everyone thought like November 17th, that's the day everything's going to drop. That's the
Yep.
that's the day of pushing, and then that's over. 2 days later, out of the blue, just Ben Affleck drops a picture. Like, Ben, do you not have a watch? Do you not have like a calendar?
Are you
Where
not
are you?
tuning in to the Movie Buffs
Yeah,
inaugural episode to
yeah.
drop this content? You know, you want to come on the stream and you want to drop it straight up and go, here you go, guys, exclusive content just for you.
He must have been like, I'm going to catch those guys out. I'm going to post
Yeah.
something. No.
Yeah, it wasn't a case of like him just dropping it, whatever. He specifically saw our episode and was like, I'm gonna go out of my way to screw these guys so that when they
Yeah,
talk about it in the next episode, it's gonna be like old news. Everyone's gonna be like, guys, who gives a shit? It's just Ben Affleck tweeting about Batman. You know, who cares?
yeah.
We're like, oh,
It,
all right.
it's unbelievable, like that Ben Affleck went on Jimmy Kimmel and said he was retired as being Batman, and now like 2 years later, here he is on Instagram and he's posting
Yeah.
pictures of awesome Batman stills, and you're like what's happening? And
I
it's
mean,
just
like,
cool.
the one bit of like optimism I always got from that was the fact that he kind of delivered it like, I'm not Batman. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
entirely sure that I'm done. It wasn't him saying, no, I'm done. I'm completely done. It was
yeah,
just, you know, maybe I'm done, maybe I'm not.
yeah,
But I mean, hey, you know for a fact that he's probably thinking. I'm not saying Ben's just a money guy, but they would have slapped it down and gone, hey, here's another Batman film. Hey, do you want to be in the Flash? That's another Batman film. Hey, do you want to be in this? That's another Batman film. You want to make a fuckload of money playing Batman? Hey, hell
yeah.
yeah. We know he loves playing Batman. So like,
Yeah. Like even with the Flash, even if it is a cameo, he might not even have to do any action scenes or anything. He just could be in the bat suit, chilling there,
yeah,
and the bat suit does all the buffness for you. So he could just be just chilling there. Well,
yeah.
Barry, how are you? That's all he has to do, really.
He has to be
It'd be
there for
cool to
that
be.
last scene with the letter, but aside from
Oh,
that, he could just have his feet up with a cigarette. Like, I don't fucking care. Michael Keaton's doing all the heavy lifting, and he's like twice
yeah,
my
yeah,
age.
true. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good scene actually. They should definitely put that into the movie. That kind of letter.
Oh, I
That'd be
hope
a pretty
so.
good scene.
That's like my one wish. Like, I putting all the Flashpoint stuff into the first Flash film's a bit kind of heavy and like front loaded in my opinion. But
Yeah,
if they put in that particular moment, I think it'd be. But see, I don't know. Part of me wants to kind of be like an optimist, right? Like I'd love for there to be a Flash trilogy, and then there to be a moment where we get true Flashpoint. We get Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan, not Negan, fucking
yeah,
hell, Thomas Wayne Batman, and then we get that real big and that means maybe like another trilogy of films, so we get to see Ben Affleck's Batman. Like
yeah.
a guy can
I
dream.
never. I never asked you before. Are you a Walking Dead fan?
Now, this is going to sound very hypocritical because yes, I am, but
Don't be one of these people that say I left after Glenn.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of similar to that, but it's not nowhere near that bad. I'm a huge fan, but I have not
Yeah.
seen a single episode of the last season. Like,
Oh.
I have never. There hasn't been. It's not like I've gone. Oh, you know what? I'd love to. I'd love to. I just fuck that show. I don't want to watch it. It's just been a case of like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I've missed all these episodes. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I'll get to
Yeah.
it. And I've somehow avoided all the spoilers. I've somehow avoided everything about this newest season.
It's interesting because The Walking Dead is still on television. Like it's still on a channel that you have to sit down at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and watch the episode.
Hmm.
While like The Boys or shows like that are on Amazon, you watch them like with your streaming service. Like The Walking Dead has kind of stuck around and survived in a period where they're on TV and they still have a fan base there. But like, yeah, I never asked you. I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead, but I never asked you that. But it's cool to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan pop up in Batman v Superman, and
Oh
then
god, yeah.
maybe a Flash film one day, and then in The Walking Dead. That's just it's cool for me as a fan.
It does make you wonder if I mean like Zack does obviously, I mean we know that he had this kind of arc and vision for the DCEU, but like to what extent did he really kind of plant the seeds that deep? Because Jeffrey Dean Morgan seems just like I cannot think of an actor who I would prefer to be Flashpoint Batman than Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah.
Now that he's in the role, it just seems like that would be perfect. That kind of real kind of brute force, just fucked up Thomas Wayne. Like Jeffrey Dean Morgan seems perfect for that. So I wonder if like when Zach was casting for BVS, you reckon he thought, yeah, they're probably going to do Flashpoint at some point. So here's your Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, I don't know because when Zach was planning out his arc, it was 5 stories. So was Jeffrey Dean Morgan as a high profile actor planted in there for the Snyderverse for the 5 story arc, or was he planted in there in case they wanted to do a Flash movie in the future? So if Zack Snyder gets to do his Justice League 2 or Justice League 3, does that mean Jeffrey Dean Morgan comes back then in some capacity? I think he will use them because he's kind of given these characters that were done dirty kind of redemption, like Jared Leto, Joker, and Joe Manganiello. So for Jeffrey Dean Morgan to come back for a tiny scene, yeah, I'll put money on it now that he would if they do get to do a Justice League 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think well that also kind of begs the question is I mean like I think I just thinking about in terms of like Zach coming back to give these characters justice. Do you the default assumption is I think that this additional photography was Nightmare, right? It was some let's bring in Joker, let's bring in Deathstroke for some another scene where you have this Nightmare Vision and Batman and Deathstroke and Joker on the same team or whatever. Like, is there some other reason why he could have brought them back for additional photography, or do you just think it's like no, definitely Nightmare?
Zach said it was 4 to 5 minutes of additional photography. Now, is Zach telling the truth or not? I don't know. He doesn't like he probably was a little annoyed that Jared Leto Joker stuff got out. And so is he going to come out and say that, yeah, we shot 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? Like he can
Yeah,
do a lot in a short period of time with a scene. Like look at that short film he did,
yeah.
Snow Steam or Snow
Snow
Stream or
Steam
something like
Island,
that.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So he can do a lot in 5 minutes. And the nightmare sequence in Batman v Superman was exactly 5 minutes. So
True.
I I think if he could have pushed the boundary a little bit and shot a little bit more, 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes, I think he would have took the opportunity. So I love Zack Snyder, but I'm gonna on this one I'm gonna believe that he shot a little bit more than 5 minutes. That's just my little take. Not enough to make a new movie, of course,
Yeah.
but I think to do something cool, you have those actors and characters, and he was there for what 2 weeks, so I don't know.
Hmm. I mean, like, a part of me is kind of. I think that maybe if he did shoot more, like, say he shot, I don't know, say 10 to 15 minutes, I think you'd leave yourself open to that whole. Oh, the Snyder Cut wasn't finished. He's shooting a new. He's he only had like half a movie shot and he's finishing the whole thing. So I can definitely see how he could kind of like weave it a little bit and say, oh, it was only another scene. So then people are like, okay, well, the people who want to level that criticism and say that it was never complete for whatever reason don't really have as
Yeah.
much kind of steam to put as much momentum behind that argument.
Well, we might never know either what's additional, and like we might say, "Well, that 5 minutes is additional." Then we might see other scenes that we think are shot back in 2016, but
Exactly.
actually could have been additional. So we might not actually know, and I hope we kind of don't, because then
Yeah,
it'll keep the haters away for a while anyway.
yeah, and I mean it was one of those. I kind of thought that if I mean we like Ben was obviously back shooting, And without getting into
Yeah,
any of his personal stuff, we know now that now he just looks phenomenal, right? Okay, like he just
yeah,
looks in incredible shape, and all of the content I've seen him in, like the that raffle thing he did with Matt Damon, and in
yeah,
pictures of his new film that kind of set pictures that have come out or whatever. Like he just looks in incredible shape. I kind of think that maybe there might be a bit in the Snyder Cut where you kind of go like, he looks really like healthy and happy then. Maybe that's
yeah,
additional photography. Maybe. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But the picture he posted was just unbelievable. It was cool.
It was
Like I don't think it's
badass.
yeah, like these three Us United pictures that we're talking about were cool, and two of them one of them we never got to see with Joe Manganiello. That's obviously additional photography. The Henry Cavill one we've seen
Yep.
in trailers, and then the one with Ben Affleck. I think we might have seen it in the edition the 2017 film. Only
Yeah,
the effects
maybe.
are a little bit different. It doesn't look fully done. That shot yet. The background looks a bit off and stuff like that, but it's still a cool shot. Batman with a gun
Hell
killing
yeah.
some parademons, and but yeah, it was pretty cool. What did you think of Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke Us United post?
I mean, that was that blew my socks off. Like, as I think, like even with the black and white, he just looks kind of bruised and battered a little bit. Like he looks like he's been in a scrap. Maybe he's been like
Yeah,
in this nightmare world where he's been thrown to the ground. He looks like he's just like ended a fight or whatever. The hairstyle obviously being different than what we saw in the theatrical cut. It just There's just so much argument to say this is Deathstroke in the nightmare world, and like it kind of it makes me think like the Marvel equivalent is, I think, like around the time when Endgame came out, there was, and spoilers if you haven't seen Endgame or whatever, mute for the next like 30 seconds. Um, it was somebody saying like, if you told me 10 years ago that we were going to see a film where Captain America picks up Mjolnir, throws it, Spider-Man is attached to it while he's holding the gauntlet, or like you'd be like, what the fuck has happened, So now I'm
yeah,
at the point where I'm like, okay, a DC equivalent or thereabouts is me saying, yeah, we could be seeing a futuristic nightmare reality where Darkseid has taken over the world with Superman, who has become evil or whatever, and Deathstroke is fighting alongside Batman against hordes of parademons. I'm like, what the fuck? Even like a
yeah,
year ago, that would have been like unheard of. But like now, because we have the cut, it's just. I do love how we're in this kind of best timeline, give or take a
yeah,
couple of things that I know people would maybe like changed. But the fact that we're just now getting this 4 hour completely unhinged, uninhibited, uncontrolled cut. It all spawns from that Deathstroke image to just say like, wow, how the hell did we get so lucky?
it's cool. And like that, he's just looking around like what the f, like I wonder is he like was in that scene he was like fighting off parademons, and then like Batman comes in with a gun and shoots them all down, and then he's looking over his shoulder like, Batman, why are you helping me? And then the two of them kind of team up that way. That'd be something cool as well. And
Oh,
it's
you're getting
like
goosebumps just with you talking about that, man.
yeah, it's literally when we do see all this stuff, we're gonna be like screaming for the whole 4 hours, the 4 episodes, because it's gonna be the most coolest thing ever, right? That's what I just think.
Unparalleled. Like, I mean, like it's just, and I think this is something we touched on heavily when we last talked, was the range and diversity in what we see in DC films is like, it's unparalleled. I mean, it's like, okay, I want to
Yeah,
see I want to see a really gritty, Dark Knight esque, but maybe kind of slightly away from that, like Batman film. Then you go see Patterson's film. If you want to see just like Justice League, just completely balls to the wall, insane, then you got it coming next year on HBO Max. Like,
yeah,
it's beautiful.
yeah. That's cool. And even were you surprised Henry Cavill posted an image on his Instagram? Now, like we should say as well, this Us United is for AFSP,
Yep.
for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. So these are part of the reasons these guys posted these images, was to bring awareness, get the donation link out there so people will go and donate. So we should say that as well.
Yep.
That's why they posted it. But Henry Cavill posting a Superman image on his story, kind of promoting the Snyder Cut and also promoting Us United. What did you make of all that?
I mean, it's kind of it brings me back to when the cut was released, because you had Henry turning up in the Man of Steel stream, and it was just kind of like when Henry got involved at that point, you just kind of knew. You're like, okay, this is Superman. Henry has like the most to lose right now, I think, in terms of his character. Like, Ben is just kind of. I mean, I'm guessing from the outside. I could be entirely wrong on everything I'm about to say, but Ben is like that up in the air whether he's going to be Batman or not. Gal's kind of like in the bag. They would never want to get rid of Gal ever. She's just irreplaceable.
Yeah,
Jason's the same. Ezra's kind of like Ezra has maybe some stuff to lose because Flash has been in developmental hell for ages, and Ray's just kind of full committed to the Snyder train regardless. He doesn't care what happens to his career, which is awesome. But Henry's kind of like, he just loves Superman so much. So to then see that he's doing stuff that maybe a year ago could have been very jeopardizing for his Superman career. The idea of speaking out in support of Zack when Warner Bros. Were, clearly against him. When he then stepped in, you're kind of like, okay, that kind of means it's a done deal. So when I saw his Instagram post the other day, it just kind of brought back those feelings. I was like, Superman is on our side. Henry Cavill is
yeah,
here supporting this cause, suicide prevention,
yeah,
raising awareness, and it's just amazing how there's this, relationship between the fans, people like us and whatnot, and the actors. It's not just some people who are, away and disconnected from us. There is such a level of like healthy respect between us and the actors that it's quite rare, And that's what Henry's post kind of meant to me, was just saying like, wow, that it means there's a lot of respect there.
yeah. And like he wasn't back in 2017. He wasn't going to go against the film that came out. He wasn't going to come
Yeah,
out and bash it and stuff like that. So he had to support that, like all the cast did. And then I suppose with the Snyder Cut movement in full effect, he wasn't going to come out and say, yeah, there is a Snyder Cut, and probably go against Warner Brothers because they weren't really
yeah,
interested in the idea at the time. So he played his cards probably right, and he's
yeah,
he's playing them right
definitely.
now. He's promoting it now as well as when he can and stuff like that, and he'll promote it when the series comes out. So yeah, he's not like he hates this and doesn't want it to come out.
Yeah.
He's playing his cards right. He has probably one of the biggest agents in the world, the Rock's agent, as well. So he has to do probably what they say, and like if you're trying to build yourself off the Rock, that's not the worst person to do it off either. So
Yeah.
like he's been probably looked after in a good way. But like the US United pictures were cool. But
Oh yeah.
people were expecting a Jared Leto Joker picture. Do you want to see the road weary Joker nightmare image or still that Grace Randolph was talking about? Do you want to see it, or
No.
do you want to wait till the series?
Wait, for sure. That's just one of those things
Yeah,
that, again, it's the Deathstroke thing, as I said. The idea of Joker, being this kind of like Mad Max-esque version of himself working alongside
yeah,
Batman in this nightmare reality. I want to wait to see the finished product in all its glory. Like the Deathstroke tease was great, but we've seen like it wasn't as new as a road weary Jared Leto Joker would be, and like regardless of what yes, exactly, that would just spoil the film. There are This was one of the things I was kind of concerned about with Zach's trailer thing. I was worried that he was going to get a bit too carried away at times, so that I did find myself like just turning the volume down for a couple of seconds, just like, I don't really want to know the context of this scene
yeah.
just quite yet. I don't really want to know any hints. Like, oh, there's this new scene where it's like Cyborg is watching the guys throwing a football around. I'm like, if Zack accidentally says, "Oh yeah, like his house was just burgled like 10 minutes ago and he shot somebody for the first time and he's like super depressed," I'm like, no, I don't want to know this stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah,
He was vague as much as he could be. He was just trying to hype us up as well. But like, there's a lot of people in or outside the Snyder Cut world that don't know much about this series, or they don't know what's going to happen. So I just don't want to spoil it on those people either. And still, we don't know a lot that's going to happen either. So like, I do want to be surprised. I would love to see the road weary look at the Joker when we sit
yeah,
down to watch the series, and then the internet explodes, because remember, this needs to be a big social media hit. And if
oh
that
hell yeah,
image if that still is taken out of the series when the episode airs, that's going to be a huge talking point on the internet, which will bring more attraction to it, and people are like, oh, cool, I'll check that out. So yeah, I think a lot of surprises will have to be kept, and I think we'll get probably one more trailer, but that trailer will probably it won't that these last few trailers we've gotten has been for the Snyder Cut community solely, in my opinion. The
yeah,
next one will be more for a wider spread of audience
yeah,
that have HBO
definitely,
Max and people that want to get it. Yeah,
yeah, definitely the kind of the more uh, generic trailer. Not like I mean, we know that Zack has like a heavy hand in all the trailers that he does, but kind of your more standard movie trailer that's a bit more appealing to the general audience. Like the significance of
yeah,
Hallelujah may be lost on a lot of people, whereas for the Snyder Cut fandom, we were all like, oh, we knew the connection with his daughter, and we knew that the importance of that. We also knew of just face value symbolism of just being able to say hallelujah after like 3 freaking
Yeah.
years that this cut is actually real. But as you say, I think there is definitely a tendency to focus on the Snyder Cut community right now. But I'm not complaining in any way.
No, and it's great, and I'm sure we'll get more teases, kind of small. Like we're gonna get hyped because Zach said that the HBO marketing department is fully behind this, and
Yes.
they're going to be like doing stuff for the fans as well. That gets me to kind of another point of. So we're talking about the release of Snyder Cut turns 3, and yesterday, the 21st, was the kind of birthday date for the hashtag release of Snyder
It
Cut.
was.
But yeah, so that was like 3 years ago. Blah blah blah. I tweeted it out, and
Yeah,
three
your
years
baby's all
later,
grown up now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's turned into a movie and into a series on HBO Max. But no, I just get some of your thoughts. Did you see much positivity yesterday on the timeline? Because my idea for it was yesterday was to kind of share it around that this is the birthday for this, but also kind of share the donation link with
Yeah.
the fund and stuff like that, and then the hashtag Us United, and many people did, which was great to see. And like it was great to see people being positive in that way and trying to get the funds up as much as possible. Did you see much positivity yesterday on the timeline
Yeah,
into that?
I mean it was great. There were so many people just like there was a lot of praise going your way. I saw that. It was lots of people just saying, "I respected this absolute madman for tweeting this out 3 years ago when nobody believed." So yeah, there was definitely a lot of positivity going around, and yeah, I mean it's say what you will, maybe my timeline is a bit echo chambery, but the link I just kind of saw it everywhere again, and it was just, and then I kept checking, and it's like, oh, 20K, 21K, I think we're up to like 25K now, maybe even higher. So
26, I think. Yeah, 27, something
26.
like that. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it definitely worked, for sure. And hey, I'm happy with every year on the 21st or whatever, just kind of saying, hey, this was the anniversary of a tweet that just kind of set in motion this
yeah.
this insane journey. Like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this.
Yeah, but it's interesting as well because the hashtag and the whole scenario has a great story. Like, there's so many people involved from the very start.
Yeah.
You got, of course, people created websites, people created funds for AFSP.
Mm.
People were talking about the Snyder Cut the day that the Justice League film came out in 2017. People were
Yeah.
saying there's going to be a petition for the Snyder Cut. A friend of mine, Carlos, was talking about it as well. And then you have Ascendant Agent. He
Yeah.
leaked some
Saw some leaks.
images
Yeah.
or a video and stuff like that. So it's like there's numerous people around that time who were talking about the Snyder Cut and kind of trying to build it up, whether it be a hashtag, whether it be just talking about it, whether it be setting up a website,
Yeah.
leaking stuff. So there's so many people to thank for that. But also, the Snyder Cut wouldn't be happening unless every single person who tweeted, who made a post on Facebook, Instagram, made a video on YouTube,
Yeah.
talked to their granny about it, it wouldn't be happening because that's how it emerged. And there was great exposure brought to the movement as well with AFSP raising money. But like as we said the other day, it was bigger than a film,
Yeah.
and it turned into something pretty special. But it's cool to look back 3 years later, or look today as in or yesterday as 3 years ago, where we were, and in such a short period of time, we're getting this next year on HBO Max. I think it's beautiful in a way, and the Snyder Cut book is coming out in February as well.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure we could maybe Sean O'Connor would like to pop by on the promotional tour
Yeah,
to the
he'll
movie
have to
buffs.
he'll have to promote that book, so he'll have to come on.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we are like the number one show in the world for any topic. So I think like you come to us and you're number one bestseller for sure. I mean, I know
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I'll be reading that when it comes out. I definitely look forward to it. But like
yeah, I, I
it's
I can't wait to read it. Yeah,
well, it's just like it's one of those things to consider. Obviously, we have a couple other topics which we'll get to in a second. But the last thing, when you tweeted that hashtag, what was going through your mind at that point? Was it just like fuck it, BVS got a director's cut, Watchmen got a director's cut, whatever. Maybe there's something out there. Or did you think, was there kind of maybe a thought in the back of your mind that maybe thought, maybe this could go somewhere?
yeah. I always go back to the point that Zach had director's cut for Batman v Superman, as you said, for Sucker Punch,
Hmm.
for Watchmen. Like, these all had director's cuts, which were like Sucker Punch had like 18 minutes cut out. Batman v Superman had 30 minutes. Watchmen had a complete animated story weighted along with other footage. So, like, I came out of the film in 2017 and thought, okay, they did their best maybe. But then I looked at the trailers, the online discussion, the leaks, stuff like that,
Mm.
and I was like, there has to be a director's cut of this movie. There has to be a Snyder cut, as people were talking about. And then I tweeted out, and like, yeah, I I just said release the Snyder cut because I thought maybe at that time it might be released a week or two later or on the DVD or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think that there'd be such a big process behind it or such a big controversy in a way. So I just put it out into the universe, and if you put good things out there, they'll eventually come back, and it has come back. So think positively about stuff in your life, and hopefully it'll sort out.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine? Would you lose your mind if maybe at like the end of part four, the credits are rolling up, and right at the end, it's just like a screenshot of your tweet?
Yeah, I know. I just think that'd be cool, all right. But I'm just happy. I'm just happy enough watching the series and just
Yeah,
getting my own buzz off that. Zach appreciates every single fan, so that's enough
exactly,
for everybody.
exactly.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I'm sure his ears are probably burning because we've talked about it for quite a lot. So let's jump ahead to our second topic. I never get that right. There we go. So the other big news that dropped right after we did our podcast again, like another,
yeah,
just like, hey, those guys are done. You know, Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot thinking, let's confirm this and drop this now. So we now
yeah,
know that Wonder Woman 84 is going to be released both in cinemas and on HBO Max. So, and I think that's the first big film that's done that since COVID. It's either been on streaming like Mulan or whatever, or it's gone to cinemas like Tenet or whatever.
yeah.
So,
Because
what are you thinking about that? That the right way to
yeah,
go?
because yeah, well, as you said, it's probably the first to do that because a lot of the theaters have contracts with the studios for the movies, and they have to stay in the cinema for a certain amount of days before they can be available on digital. There's big rules behind that stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I think Tenant was a big eye opener for all these studios to say, okay, we're gonna risk it big time if we release these kind of movies, we're not going to get money back. But for like, we've actually an interesting perspective to talk about this because a lot of the streams that I watch are American people or Canadian or stuff like that, and they have HBO Max in their country,
yes,
so they can go and buy HBO Max, watch Wonder Woman, or they can go to a theater that's open. Where we are right now, we're on lockdown here
yeah.
in Ireland. You're in lockdown in the UK, yeah,
England, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like we don't know. Like even I think something about Boris Johnson. He said that the UK is only opening up for Christmas week or something like that as well. He was saying, kinda.
Are we going to become a political stream now? Are we going to change
Yeah,
it? No, I think yeah, that's what we're hearing, and I think maybe some
yeah.
trade-off. There'll be some, maybe some extended lockdown in January to
Yeah.
compensate, but I'm not gonna try and work out the logistics of that.
But like we can't sit here right now and say, "Hey man,
Yeah.
are you gonna rent? Are you gonna buy Wonder Woman?" I can't. I don't know where it's gonna be available.
I
So
have
we
no
don't know.
choice.
Yeah, we don't know right now where it's going to be available because HBO Max isn't going to come here because they have rights deals with Sky and different companies like that. So we're not going to get a HBO Max app where we can download like Netflix on our iPad or computer and watch it. That's
Yeah.
just not going to happen. But we don't know right now if it's going to be available to rent, to buy on Google Play or Google Store, whatever them things are, or Sky Store. We don't know right now, but you Americans and Canadians or wherever else has HBO Max, you don't have to worry about that. You can sit down Christmas Day,
Yeah.
relax and watch Wonder Woman 84. We don't know yet.
You
We don't
lucky
know. So
bastards. You can put your feet up
yeah,
in front of the fire, and here we're just sat in the cold, cold, no Wonder Woman. We'll go back and watch the 2017 film on our DVD
that
players or whatever and cry.
that's on Netflix right now. Actually,
Oh, there you go. So yeah,
yeah. So
DVDs,
it's
this
available.
outdated technology. Netflix, go for it.
Yeah, it's available to the 25th of November. So hurry up, guys, and watch it. Not,
This will be
not.
my Christmas viewing. I'm gonna watch Wonder Woman
Yeah,
a month before Christmas, and then that's it.
yeah,
But I mean, they have to. They have to come up with some distribution plan because streaming. It's gonna leak. It's gonna just be posted everywhere. It's gonna be torrented,
yeah.
like everything is. But even more so, yeah, sipping on some maple syrup like the Canadians do, happy with your feet up by the
Yeah.
fire with your goddamn. What's the food that Canadians love to eat? It's like the gravy thing. Oh, poutine. That's it. Poutine. Yeah, sitting there with
Yeah.
your Christmas poutine, I guess, or whatever. Are you guys able to get it on the Amazon stuff, like the Kindles or Fire Stick out there? Not that I know of. I don't think we have any access to HBO Max unless we're using like VPNs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like it's just like I'd love to plan around my Christmas and say I'm going to watch it on that date, but we just don't know yet. Like it's like they'll have to come up with something because it will get leaked. Like, and it will. It's not like it's going to be leaked from the theaters. There's going to be a HD copy leaked
Yeah,
worldwide
it's gonna
of
be
it. So
perfectly clean, and you could be like, oh hell yeah, it's
yeah,
not some guy just like sat there with a camera right here trying not to get kicked
yeah,
out. It's
yeah, yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
perfectly ripped from the screen.
Because I was like I was texting my friend last night, and I go, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, I'm watching the Fresh Prince of Bel Air reunion show." And I'm like, "Where are you watching that?" I was like, "Oh, I got online." You can't do that. It's on HBO Max in America, and he's here watching it through some torrent site or something like that. So it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can see like maybe through like Sky Go or something like that because of the Sky
Yeah,
Atlantic relationship, but
yeah,
it's never going to be, and this is sound like, yeah, major first world problems, like boo fucking who. It's never going to be as convenient as having HBO Max to just go, okay, I'm going to watch that, which is, but then this is the thing, like Wonder Woman 84 is obviously going to be is now going to be the precursor to the Snyder Cut in terms of where the traffic for HBO Max is going to come from. So I mean, well, I mean, if arguably it's going to be, it could be just as much traffic because Wonder Woman, at least to general audiences, is going to be a much, maybe a bit more of a wider appealing film than the Snyder Cut.
yeah,
I think
mm,
that's fair to say. So either way, it's going to be that test run for both the Snyder Cut and also any big DC content that comes to HBO Max. It's going to be because we need to get this distribution right and we need to get it sorted because if this falls on its face, I don't know if you or if anybody who watches this is into PC building, but I've been trying to get hands on some new components for my new build, and the launches of some components have been awful. They've been, not been able to handle heavy traffic. They haven't been able to handle bots and scalpers and stuff like that, and that has such a negative, repercussion on the entire company because then everyone's like, okay, you guys don't know how to launch a product, you guys don't know how to distribute it. I'm going to take my
yeah,
business elsewhere. You can easily see that happening with, I mean, well, like Mulan was an example. Like people were just like, I'm not paying like 20 quid to watch this film and pay a monthly
yeah.
subscription. Get your distribution right.
Yeah, and like even Subs Patty says in the comments that yeah, we have Sky Atlantic here. That's where they show much of the HBO shows here. But they have a new deal with Sky and HBO. It's going to go on for another 5 years. So they're going to get the HBO Max shows and HBO shows for the next 5 years because that new Ridley Scott show, the Wolves show, I
Oh,
haven't
Raised by
seen it yet.
Wolves, yeah.
Yeah, that's coming to Sky Atlantic on December 1st with all episodes, and that's the first HBO Max show that's coming from America to the UK, to
Yeah.
Ireland, UK, through Sky. So that's probably a big indication of where Zack Snyder's Justice League could end up, unless
Yeah.
they change the way they've done it. But they have a long deal of 20 years. They've been together 20 years, bringing the stuff over to the UK in that way. So I don't see how it's going to change. But it's going to be yeah. But like with Wonder Woman, it seems to be this is the new marketing way for these companies, and they have to adjust. Before
Yeah.
you'd market it with a trailer, billboard, stuff like this. I don't know if the studios are fully like behind how to market this stuff for streaming yet,
Oh
because
yeah, this is a completely new ball game. And
yeah,
this
because
is something that they need to adapt quickly to.
they have to yeah quickly because Wonder Woman's only a month away,
Yeah.
and we don't know where we're going to see it. Zack Snyder's Justice League is rumored for March, so like this is a new marketing way that they have to adapt to fairly quickly, or they're going to lose viewers, they're going to lose sponsorship to their or subscriptions to their platform. So they have to hurry up. Kind of, it's okay for all the Americans; they can understand, or people who have HBO Max, they know exactly where to go, but we don't.
Yeah.
So I think they need to be a bit more clear, Warner Brothers and HBO, where exactly I will get to watch this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Because I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman. I'll watch it. My family will watch it. As you said, it's a more broader film for people to watch, especially young children. They'll see Wonder Woman, they'll want to watch it, and the first
Yeah.
one was a success. So, like, yeah, and it's an interesting dilemma. I'm not going to get too angry over it, but
Pitchforks and signs. You want to be
yeah,
let's get
but
the
I
Snyder
think
Cut treatment. Let's fly some planes over Burbank and
yeah,
say,
yeah,
release HBO Max in the
yeah,
UK.
yeah. Oh, here we go again.
I'm tweeting the hashtag out first. I'm gonna do it right now so I can beat you to it.
But but getting to the positives about it, for it to come to HBO Max is probably good for the Snyder Cut because I said on Twitter that treat this like a theatrical movie.
Yes.
Play a trailer before it. If it's a trailer for all the HBO Max content that's coming, play that before it. If it's just for a Snyder Cut trailer, do that before Wonder Woman. That gets people thinking, oh, that's Wonder Woman's next adventure. They watch
Yeah.
this movie and they don't have to wait a year or 2 or 3 years for the next movie. that features Wonder Woman, it's only 2 or 3 months away. So that could make people stay on the platform and subscribe longer, and then
Yeah.
bring more viewership to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then that includes maybe a 2 and a 3 happening, because all this popularity is happening. But
Mhm.
as Super Fatsy said, Zach said a full movie marketing will happen. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what Zach was hinting. So yeah, there is going to be a huge marketing behind Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I just don't think they've gotten the Wonder Woman one right yet, which it's kind of
Yeah.
understandable because it's been delayed so many times. So probably
Yeah,
that's
and,
why.
and this is I think the biggest danger comes with, and that PC picking part picking analogy I used. That's kind of like, I'm going to take my money elsewhere. When it comes to movies, I think in this sense, I think the main negative effect is just lower enthusiasm. And that's all it is. And then it doesn't become a case of like, oh, screw you, HBO Max, I'm gonna go get Disney Plus out of spite because you didn't sort out Wonder Woman. It's just a case of like, okay, I don't really have as much like drive to watch the film.
Yeah.
Not me personally, but I think generally speaking, that's how this kind of a bad initiation to the streaming services can go. It kind of come a case of like, okay, I'm not really that like bothered about Wonder Woman anymore, which sucks because like it's Wonder Woman, like this
Yeah.
is a big movie. You got your Pedro Pascals, you got everything, and it's just like it would be a shame if they don't get it right. And yeah, as Soup Spatsy says, Mulan wasn't Wonder Woman 84 like material, but the general premise, I would argue, is just a case of how quickly movie studios can adapt to having to put content online. And I think Mulan was definitely a case of how not to do it. Like the
Yeah.
marketing was almost non-existent. There was, I think, still charging people to watch a movie even if you're paying a subscription, which I believe is what happened. I may be wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
stupid idea because that's not only going to just annoy people, I think that's going to just disincentivize them from paying a subscription. If I was paying a monthly fee for these shows and then they all of a sudden went, hey, any big movie release, you got to pay like 20 quid to watch it. I'm going to be like, well, if you're going to be releasing like 5 or 6 big movies a year onto the service, I don't want to pay 120 quid to watch
Yeah.
films. Like, it was cheaper to watch it in the cinema.
Yeah, it was kind of stupid, but I think the balls in Warner Brothers court, like, because they can look at what Disney did wrong and say, right,
Yeah.
we won't charge
Yes.
for Wonder Woman. We're going to put it on the streaming service. If you're subscribed, you get it for a month. You get to watch it as much times as you want.
Yeah.
Also, it's interesting as well because with Disney Plus, they don't have as much content on it that I'm excited for. Like The Mandalorian is probably the only thing that I watch in that right now.
Yeah.
HBO Max has a few properties that I'd love to watch. They're going to have Doom
Yeah.
Patrol on it, Titans, the Snyder Cut, Wonder Woman. They've got so much stuff there. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, they're into that reunion show. They're doing a Friends reunion show in a few months as well. So there's so much stuff, a variation of different things for all age groups, children, teenagers, adults, on HBO Max. And Disney Plus kind of has just the one thing going for them at the moment. I know the Marvel shows are coming, but
yeah,
they got it wrong big time with the Mulan $30 extra fee for that, and it just didn't work. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it comes here. But I probably will get it, but it just depends as well on money, because it is a pandemic. It is around Christmas as well, so let me know quickly so I can put money aside for it.
Well, hopefully they give you that free trial month, and then that means you can actually buy a present for your family rather than, saying, you got to choose between Wonder Woman 84 and getting like some clothes that you desperately need or whatever. I was going to scrap that. That makes it sound like you guys are like poor and living Christmas to Christmas. You only get clothes from the Viking at Christmas. That's the only way you get dressed.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, super actually animated DC stuff as well, and I am a big fan of them just like conglomerating all DC stuff into just one place. I think when they had like DC Universe as well, it was kind of a bit all over the place. Maybe some stuff on Netflix, some stuff here, stuff there. So if everything is just like, you want DC stuff, you go there, and they're gonna get a lot of attention from that.
Yeah, because when they licensed the stuff over here, we had Titans on Netflix, we had Swamp Thing on Amazon, we had Doom Patrols on Apple TV. You have to buy it through them. So when things do come here, they're all over the place.
Yeah, they're just like, who goes to the highest bidder out here? It's not convenient.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and if you want to watch any of the CW shows, you have to have Sky or Now TV.
Yeah.
So it is all over the place actually when it comes to here. So Zack Snyder's Justice League ending up on something else probably wouldn't be a surprise either. So it's we just have to wait and see. Really.
Pray to God that it's just like, guys, just simplify it, just funnel it down to HBO Max and we'll give you all our money.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
But
there's obviously viability to all this because I mean, otherwise the Snyder it's not just the Snyder Cut coming out on HBO Max is twofold. It's not just a case of we were really fucking loud on Twitter. It was a case of, well, you guys are really loud, but we also believe you're going to put your money where your mouth is, and when it comes out, you're going to support HBO Max. So I think, like it on like COVID or not, I think this kind of trajectory towards streaming services is where things were going anyway. It's just COVID just put it to hyperdrive and said, you know, if you don't go to streaming services, you're just sinking money.
yeah, but the released kind of a new trailer as well with the announcement, and
Yeah.
for Wonder Woman, and like my hype wasn't dead, but I just wasn't as interested because it was getting delayed so many times. I didn't know what was going to happen with theaters. That trailer kind of got me hyped again for the movie.
Yeah.
It
Oh
had a
yeah.
good tone to it, good rhythm to it, and I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman 84. But did you like the trailer? Did the trailer do anything for you to appease you to that movie?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I was going through, I was reading some Justice League comics the other day, and I was reading uh which one? I can't remember the name of it now, but it's the one where there's a Cheetah is they find Cheetah, they capture her in the woods or whatever, and they send her to Belle Reef prison, and she infects Superman at one point. And I was just like, it was the same day I think they released that announcement of it coming to HBO Max, and I was just like, well, hell yeah, that trailer. I'm like, this is definitely. I'm gonna see this shit on the big
Yeah,
on whatever screen, like regardless. And kind of having that trailer was like a perfect storm, and I was like, you know, hell yeah, I'm still fucking excited for Wonder Woman 84. I love this 80s vibe. I love this retro vibe. It's more evidence that DC's just doing its directors do whatever the hell you want to do kind of thing. Like hell yeah. I mean, I will say yeah, my excitement faltered a teeny bit when it got delayed like twice or two or three times, but I've definitely always been like I'm not being like a shill here and just saying like, oh, I love Wonder Woman and buy this merchandise or whatever, but I've always been like,
yeah.
fuck yeah, this movie is gonna look good.
Yeah, even Soup Spatsy says exactly as you say. We got the Snyder cut thanks to a number of reasons, and screaming was probably not even the most important. So yeah, but like they didn't listen to any of the negativity. Like if you went on HBO Max's
Yeah.
tweets in the comments or Warner Brothers or Jason Kilar or any of those guys and said release the fucking Snyder cut, they didn't probably listen to that. They
Yeah,
didn't. They
yeah,
didn't. Yeah, So it was the positive stuff they got the Snyder Cut announced, and the money from their point of view, and the
yeah,
subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. That's what got them interested. But yeah, I'm. The trailer was good. Hopefully they can get it right, so it is a success for them in some degree. I know it's going to be hard because the budget is probably to 150 million,
yeah.
maybe 200
Wait,
million,
a
and
big one.
probably costs more now with all the marketing and stuff. But hopefully it's a success in terms of bringing people to HBO Max or wherever it drops here.
Yeah, and I think to use that as a smooth segue, what is not so much of a success is predicting Green Lantern's role in the Snyder Cut and DC in general. I had to segue that because we're at 50 minutes, and I was like, he's
Yeah,
gonna say something that I can use to like into Green Lantern,
yeah,
and I did it. So go me. So I think the recent unfolding was Grace kind of making different claims um, about whether it's going to be Ryan Reynolds and other people saying no, it's going to be Sam Benjamin. It's definitely going to be this guy who the community has kind of tried to detective mode work out who he is. But then we've got kind of, is it legit confirmation, or is it still kind of just boss logic artwork that Deadpool 3 is like definitely happening now?
yeah. I think it is. Deadline had a special
Oh, okay, I
article
did not
about it
see any
saying
like
that.
anything from
Yeah,
trades, so
yeah. It was Justin Kroll, I think, the reporter. I think that's his name. He had it. I follow him on Twitter. He said something big was coming. Get ready to trend. And funnily enough, it was about Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool 3 happening. They have the writers, two women from Bob's Burgers,
mhm.
that animated show, are coming on to write the movie, and that Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Feige are working very close together on the project, and also a possibility that the film will be R-rated.
I mean that's kind of a crucial element of Deadpool, really, isn't it? It's kind of hard to see them doing anything less, but when you're kind of brought into the Disney fold, there is a very clear vision. But I think maybe the point was, okay, let's get into phase 4 before we really move into Deadpool 3 territory because of the fact that they are seeming to now branch out and do some crazy stuff like Doctor Strange 2 supposedly being a horror, like a scary film. I'm very eager to see how that turns out because that sounds fucking cool. We're getting much more diversity in terms of who's being cast. You have the Shang-Chi, the Ten Rings film, so getting a hell of a lot more representation there. Um, your Black Panther 2s, your
Yeah.
Captain Marvel 2s or whatever, so that they are expanding to say the least. So, but it's whether or not Deadpool really fits into that wider picture, or is it a case of saying let's just have Deadpool be, um, Marvel's version of say Robert Pattinson's Batman film? Like it's a part of Marvel as a whole, but maybe not cleanly linked to the MCU as other properties are.
Yeah, and if whoever's in the chat, if you're watching, guys, let us know in the comments who you think Green Lantern is in the Snyder Cut,
Yeah, your
or
guess
what,
is as good as ours. Seriously.
or or what Green Lantern is going to appear. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to Deadpool 3. Deadpool 2 for me was actually a great film.
Yeah.
It's probably in my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time. I have so much rewatch value in that movie. The
Yeah.
jokes, the action. I just really like it. But I just never thought that Disney would do an R-rated Deadpool film. I just
Yeah.
didn't think it would happen. And that's why I thought there was a possibility that Ryan Reynolds might come back to DC as some character, because if he's not going to be in Marvel as Deadpool, then DC might as well capitalize on that and bring him back over here.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that was going to happen, and I still don't fully believe that it's going to be an R-rated Deadpool film.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they can make an enjoyable, good PG-13 Deadpool film, and it's fun and it's enjoyable, but it takes away a little bit, and the
Yeah.
audiences have an expectation of this character now of our rating. So to change that so much, it's easier to change a character from PG-13 to R-rated than R-rated to PG-13, in my opinion. It worked so well for Logan, who was PG-13 for such a long time, or Wolverine, and then the R rating came out and over, and people said, "Oh, this is effing cool."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for Deadpool 3. Ryan Reynolds, of course, great, funny, all that kind of stuff. I just think if they're going to let him do Deadpool 3, let him do Deadpool 3 outside the MC universe. Of course, make jokes and references and stuff, but you don't have to have any of the characters pop up in his films. But if you want Deadpool in the MCU, I don't mind him popping up as a PG-13 Deadpool in the MCU with Spider-Man and those kind of characters, if we get the R-rated standalone movies on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's definitely, I mean, you see from the comics, I think there's a lot of, whenever the deal of bringing Deadpool into the MCU came through, I saw lots of people sharing like their favorite excerpts from comics of things like Spider-Man and Deadpool interacting, and it's like, I could see there being, there's quite a great juxtaposition or contrast between Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, R-rated, and Tom Holland's kind of babyface Spider-Man. I think there's quite a lot there to work with just in that alone. That chemistry could be pretty damn cool. But it kind of depends on how Marvel is kind of treating this next phase. Is it going to be just kind of like Marvel trying to do a DC and say, hey, you guys just go and do whatever the hell you want, and maybe at some point in the future we'll have a film that brings a lot of you together? If not, we've done our end game, we made our $3 bajillion, we don't care. It depends on how they're going to approach that, because that will determine how Ryan Reynolds is utilized within that sphere, because I think he's just too big a name and too big a I don't want to say property because it's kind of dehumanizing, but he's too big to kind of just do one film in the MCU and that's that.
Yeah, I think I've seen a report there today on Twitter that they're kind of concentrating on the streaming products of Marvel that they have right now, because that's probably the way forward with no theaters. So they're going to concentrate on WandaVision, on Winter Soldier and Falcon, on Moon Knight, and all those kind of characters, which is cool as well. Yeah, but I think they are going in that direction of different kind of products, because WandaVision looks freaky, it looks crazy, it looks interesting. It looks different, which I'm excited to see. Winter Soldier seems like the trailers really have got me interested, and even Winter Soldier and Falcon looks like a spy kind of thriller. Moon Knight, of course, it's going to be. They brought in Oscar Isaac. That's a great actor as well. So I'm looking forward to what they're doing big time. And I'm looking forward to Deadpool, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I hope they do R-rated stuff, but of course it might end up on, if it ends up on Disney Plus, it's not going to be R-rated.
You have to have some parental controls behind it. You have to, hold up a picture of your ID to your camera that shows that you're above 18.
Yeah, so unless they make an adult version of Disney Plus that you can use, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see on that format. But as in Green Lantern, so that fully confirms that he's not going to be Green Lantern. That was a talk for a very long time.
Yeah.
And of course, if let's just say that he was in talks. Now, that's what people have been saying. He was in talks to come back, and Zach wanted him, and he wanted to come back, but he just didn't have the time. Okay, let's treat that as fact for a second. That means that there is no Hal Jordan right now in the Snyder Cut. Then, if he was going to come back, he was
Yeah.
probably going to play Hal Jordan. So that means that Zach, if he was going to bring him back, was going to shoot a scene with him, a little cameo or something like that, as Hal Jordan for future films. So I don't think there is a Hal Jordan in this Snyder Cut. I just think there's Green Lanterns, but not a John Stewart, not a Hal Jordan. Yeah, I think there's probably teases towards that. But what do you make of this whole Green Lantern scenario? Because Super Spatsy goes, Ben, Sam Benjamin, and I think you mean Sam Benjamin there, Super Spatsy.
It's more
But
or
that's
less
been
the
a lot of
same.
talk. Yeah,
I mean,
that's been
like,
a lot of talk as well.
I think one of the biggest kind of indicators was obviously I was wearing that Justice League hoodie last episode, and it obviously had all the logos on, um, and it had a Green Lantern logo, and it wasn't just a case of saying like, oh, of course he's going to put a Green Lantern logo on there, because he also put a Martian Manhunter logo on there. So it's a case of saying, and we know that Martian Manhunter is going to be in the Snyder Cut. So at that point, was it Zach being an idealist about what was going to happen? Did he just need another name on the sleeve, another logo on the sleeve, just to have some symmetry? 4 on each arm. I don't know. Um, there are other rumors that apparently there was going to be a scene with Batman talking to Green Lantern at the lake house, I think, and that they were going to do they shot Batman's side and they hadn't shot Green Lantern's side, maybe because of Ryan Reynolds' availability. I don't know. Part of me is towards the idea more that Zach is kind of his kind of go-to is picking lesser known actors, maybe not like the top choices for each role. I mean, maybe like Ben would be an exception, but Henry, Gal, Ezra, Ray, Jason to an extent, Game of Thrones aside,
Yeah.
they were kind of unknowns, and I don't know if he's the type of person who, does as much as he loves his fans, is the type of guy to go for fan service for a cast. I don't know, like, I would love the idea of Ryan Reynolds coming back to play Green Lantern, but I don't think Ryan Reynolds would have been Zach's choice. Ideally, I don't think that would have. I mean, I'm spitballing here. I am purely guessing. Zach might be sat, and picks up word of what I'm saying. That guy's a fucking idiot. Of course, I want Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds, but like,
Yeah.
the idea that Zach personally wanted Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern doesn't quite tick the box for me.
Yeah, well, you have to. Like, Zach would love to come back for a 2 and 3. I know he
Yeah.
said he hasn't any plans to at the moment, but one way of that happening would have been if Ryan Reynolds was to appear in the Snyder Cut, a mega star
Yeah.
coming as Green Lantern, and HBO Max would be like, well, kind of Ryan Reynolds is bigger than the Justice League right now in terms of a global stage. People know him. He's a big businessman. He can attract a lot of people to HBO Max. So if that was to happen, I think they wouldn't take too long to greenlit a Snyder Cut 2 if Ryan Reynolds was a part of it, because and Zach isn't stupid either. He probably would have been thinking, if I had Ryan Reynolds in this as a cameo, that would gain some amount of buzz online, on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram. People would be losing their shit over that, and they would definitely come back for a part 2 to see Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern again. So maybe that's what, like, if he was in talks, I'm sure Zach was entertaining the idea of it. But as you said, that scene, there was rumored for a long time that Ben Affleck's Batman was interacting with some Green Lantern. It was probably some of the animated Green Lantern characters. I don't know their names. I like Kilowog or something like that. I think that's one of the characters.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But yeah, that was probably what they were going to do. Tease a character, and Super Spatsy says John Stewart could be. They could have brought in an unknown actor and just shot a scene. It could be, because as you said, unknown actors. Yeah, we might not know, but like, it depends on what kind of Green Lantern he's going for as well. Because with Ben Affleck's Batman, I think you needed a big known actor for that role, because that was a Batman that was 20 years old. He had a lot of history. The audiences needed to see, oh, there's Ben Affleck. They know who he is. But Superman story, Aquaman story, Wonder Woman story, they were all origin stories. You didn't need a big actor for them, because it was an origin story. So if this is a Hal, if this is a Hal Jordan or Green Lantern that's been around for 20 or 30 or 40 years and has been on some other planet, then you might need a bigger actor to propel that kind of role. But if it's an origin story like the others, then somebody that we don't know would probably be the choice that's going to be.
Yeah, I think that's actually a perfect line of reasoning. Actually, I hadn't quite framed it in that perspective. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. It's just a case of like, what does Zach value the most? Does he value kind of staying to that ethos of I'm just gonna, use actors who I personally believe are like the best fit, or is there an element of him that's thinking bigger picture and thinking, well, if I want to increase the odds of Justice League 2 or 3 happening, should I maybe, go for somebody a bit higher end, a bit more noticeable? And I think you're definitely right. I think bringing in Ryan Reynolds even for one scene would just bring up such a huge level of traffic about saying everyone freaking out and going, "Holy shit, Ryan Reynolds actually came back to do this." I I don't know. I really don't. I think that's too hard
Yeah.
to tell. I think I was personally I was really happy just saying, no, I don't think Ryan Reynolds was Zach's pick. But your argument there, just saying like picking somebody that's a known individual to kind of propel a story, well, propel the interpretation of a character that's been in the game for a long time. You need an actor who's like really at their A game. Like that was one of Ben Affleck's best aspects, was the fact that you could just see that history on his face. So being able to bring in an
Yeah.
actor who could do a similar sort of thing with Green Lantern is, oh, I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. That's too hard.
We could get
That's way too hard.
Yeah, we could get to the point and the Snyder Cut episode's finished and we're like, there was no Green Lantern, there was no Hal Jordan, there was no John Stewart. That could be a possibility.
It could
But
be.
there's a Green Lantern that appears in the history lesson, all right. But we don't get to see their face, or they probably don't have any lines or anything like that. They're just a part of the war against Darkseid.
Yeah.
So that could be the only appearance, and then the glowing green could just be where an episode ends, and we have to wait until a Snyder Cut 2 to see what happens. So do you think that this drama about Sam Benjamin, do you think he is Green Lantern do you think he's Hal Jordan?
See, I don't know. It's it's two sides of the same coin. Like part of me just wants to kind of say like I can't. Part of me can't quite see it. I think if somebody said like, "Oh, here's Ben Affleck," could you see him as Bruce Wayne? I mean, you could. Hindsight's 2020, but like, yeah, I could. Like Henry Cavill, this guy who may never have heard of. Could you see this guy as Superman? Like, fuck yeah, I can see that straight away. With Sam, it's like I don't quite know, but every like little bit, every tease, every little hint that he could have been in it, and like that interview he did a while back where he was talking about how he was in a scene with like another hero and a villain, and he had like an arc, whatever. It's like, I don't. It's just it's very hard to tell, And the cynic would argue that maybe his agent has said, "Yo, if you ever get asked about Justice League, be really coy about it and make it look like you've got something to hide, because then people are going to talk about you more, and your name will get out there, and give some more
Exactly.
attention to yourself." That is a very real possibility. That's not me saying that that's definitely what happened, but I like to be. I mean, I love to be surprised. Like Zach is just, he's proven to be great at just plucking people out of nowhere, and I'm sure whoever he has picked for Green Lantern will do a fantastic job. But it's just a case of I cannot. I have no idea. I really have no idea.
Yeah, and the thing is with Sam Benjamin, as you said, he's an actor. Of course, he wants more work, and
No.
especially in something so big as the Justice League, of course. And like, look at Harry Lennox. None of us thought in Man of Steel that he was Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
That's something that was developed. Maybe Zach had the idea from day one, and yeah, that could be. And part of the kind of mystery about it was that Harry Lennox didn't know he was the character as well. So then he played the character. Like, so it was the best disguise for him being Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. But with Sam Benjamin, if he survives Justice League, is there a possibility the Ring could choose him in future films? Yeah, of course. He could
Yeah.
be a different named Green Lantern, of course. But I don't think he's Hal Jordan. I don't think he is Kyle Rayner or any of those characters. I think the
I think
role
he's
that
probably
Sam
Jessica
Benjamin.
Cruz. I think that's probably the lead. Yeah.
That's exactly who he is.
He's got the figure for it. I'm sure he's
Yeah, he can pull it off. He can pull it off.
very progressive Green Lantern film that we've got going
Yeah,
on here.
yeah. It's 2020, so we need to hit all aspects in the Justice League. But with Sam Benjamin, I think he has the same kind of character as Chris Meloni had in Man of Steel. He was the
Yeah.
officer that interacted with Fiora a lot. The two
Yeah.
of them had an arc in that film. That's what I
Yeah.
think that's what I think Sam Benjamin's story is. I think he probably interacts with a hero or a villain for, he says 25 minutes. I don't know if that's 25 minutes non-stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hope it's just 25 minutes of Sam just talking to somebody, and then it has like no
Yeah,
payoff. It just
yeah,
ends.
yeah. And he could be just he could be. Remember in 2016, Scott Eastwood was cast in the Suicide Squad
Yes.
film, and people were like, "What character is he going to play? Who was he playing?" He
There's
was
a lot of
barely in the
speculation
film.
that there's a lot of speculation that he was gonna be like Nightwing or something like that. I think I remember
Yeah,
seeing that to be like the big thing. And then yeah, he's like fucking hardly in it. Maybe
he
David Ayer's
wasn't in it.
Suicide Squad. He has a complete arc. Let's get that one going.
Maybe he could. Yeah, he could be as well. Actually, yeah. But I'm just saying, I think people are letting themselves up here to be
Yeah.
kind of let
Yeah.
down in
I
some
think
way.
that's a
But
good argument.
he's an actor, and of course he's going to tease it. Like I've tweeted stuff towards him before, and he's liked it about Green Lantern. And I
Yeah.
initially thought, oh, he must be Green Lantern, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I just don't. I don't see it in the end, because this movie, there's six other heroes, five other heroes, plus Lex Luthor, plus Deathstroke, plus Joker, plus
Yeah.
that's the Dark Side, Steppenwolf, what's the other guy's name? D-Side or something like that.
Decide.
So yeah, there's so many other characters, and so I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, Scoot McNairy. I remember because
Hmm.
wasn't he one of the behind the scenes things of BVS was he had like the green leg stockings on, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, why would you want to
Yeah,
be digitally doing anything with his legs? Is he going to be running really fast, maybe?" And I was like, "No, it's because his legs got crushed and he had to have them removed." So it's kind of like a
yeah,
big bait and switch that really really got us there. But like it was like when I first watched BVS, and Bruce goes over to help him and he sees his tag and he's like, "What do they call you, Wally? Huh?" I was just I did
yeah,
like a double take. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Are they gonna
yeah,
have like Flash's
yeah.
origin story be he has no legs? And I had to kind of no, he's probably just some guy. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't think Zach would make too many heroes of the one hero. I don't think in Zach's world we'll get to see two or three different Flashes. Like a Nightwing and a Robin. I just think he has this 5 story arc.
Yeah,
Batman has lost Robin.
yeah,
Flash is just coming into being Flash, and he has that backstory with his father and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, a lot of like, the interesting part about it is we have a lot of discussion and a lot of theories about when it comes to these movies, but then we aren't really right most of the time when
yeah.
it
We
comes
are
to the
so wrong so often. It's
yeah.
insane.
And I think maybe Zach is doing it on purpose as well, not addressing it, because it
Yeah,
keeps speculation. It keeps people interested as well. Who's going to be Green Lantern? Is it Sam Benjamin? Because he hasn't addressed it once. He hasn't even shared an image of Sam Benjamin. Was Sam
yeah.
Benjamin even on the set of Justice League? Because there's been no images whatsoever.
No, he posted a pic in his trailer. He could have been lying
Yeah,
for all he cares. He could have just been like,
yeah,
"Oh shit, I found this in my
exactly.
closet. I'm gonna post this on Instagram and just fuck with some people." And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Holy shit, this
Yeah,
dude's Green Lantern!" And he's got like a bunch more followers, and everyone's
yeah,
talking about him. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. So I don't know, but whoever Green Lantern is, I don't think it's going to have that much of a role on impact on the Snyder Cut movie when
Yeah,
we get in 2021. That's just my thought.
yeah. And I think that's
Yeah, but
probably
I see one of the
oh, go for it.
oh no, I was just going to say Bob's Adventures act. He put a question. What was our thoughts about the latest Mandalorian episode?
Oh,
Have
I'm
you seen it?
nowhere near caught up. So I can
You're
take
nowhere
my
caught
I
up.
can talk my headset off and you can answer, or you can give a thumbs up,
No, no,
thumbs down.
I have a review on my channel, so if he goes to that
Oh, well, there you
channel and the
go. Did
comments, he
you
can find a
sign
review
in
if he
on
wants to hear my
another
thoughts.
account
Oh,
just so you could have
yeah,
a reason to shamelessly plug your own?
yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. I am Bob's Burgers. I am Soup Spatsy. I am all the guys in the comments.
All right. Well, I think that's we've gone slightly over our last episode, so I
Yeah,
think that's probably a good place to wrap it up. Thank you everybody for coming by the stream. If you were here at the start, maybe we were thinking about teasing some upcoming things that may be of excitement to people in the chat. Something that you may
I,
go for.
and if something was happening, when will the next stream be?
Well, the next stream is planning to be on Wednesday, but it's
Okay.
not confirmed that Wednesday's going to be like whoa, or if it's going to be
Yeah,
standard. Maybe a future episode will be whoa. But
yeah,
yeah, some interesting things to look out for in this space for those people. And I hope to God that this isn't one of those videos where people come back to it and go, "Look at what you said here.
Yeah,
Where is it?" And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna edit this video.
This is we're making our own Sam Benjamin scenario here.
Yes, exactly, exactly. No, it is. We're not having Sam Benjamin on. I'm sure maybe if we shot him a
No,
message,
no,
he'd
oh
be
no.
out for a chat. We're like, so you want to talk about Green Lantern at all? But yeah, so there's
Yeah. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
yes, stay tuned. Some interesting things, some fun things could be happening in the near future. So thank you all everyone for coming
Yeah.
along and watching. We appreciate.
Subscribe.
Yes, hit the
Subscribe.
subscribe button and donate to AFSP. I was about to say donate to us. I thought no, AFSP is probably a bit more important.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank
Okay,
you
guys.
everybody. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Have fun.